Everyone blamed the Kayamata seller under the bridge for what happened to Chief Kunle. They said Jessica used heavy jars to tie his destiny inside a schnapps bottle. They were wrong. The truth was simpler, darker, and much more expensive. Jessica didn't use juju. She used Lagos men's own stupidity against them, and she never missed. Jessica wasn't the loudest girl in the room. She was the silence that made you look twice. While other girls at Quillox were shaking waist and screaming over Hennessy, Jessica would sit at the bar, sipping water, looking like she owned the building and was just waiting for the tenants to pay rent. She had that kind of skin that looked like it had never known the stress of a damnful boss. Smooth, caramel, glowing like she swallowed a light bulb. Chief Kunle was the type of man who thought his pot belly was a sign of prosperity, not high cholesterol. He walked into the lounge that Friday night smelling of expensive oud perfume and unresolved midlife crisis. He was 55, the CEO of an oil servicing company that mostly serviced his own bank account, and he had a wife at home, Madam Kemi, who had stuck with him since he was drinking gari without sugar. But looking at Jessica, Chief Kunle forgot Kemi. He forgot his 3 children in boarding school. He forgot that his blood pressure medication was in his other jacket. He approached Jessica with the confidence of a man who hasn't heard the word no since 1999. "Fine girl," Kunle boomed, his voice battling the DJ speakers. "Why are you sitting alone? A diamond shouldn't be hidden." Jessica turned. She didn't smile. She just looked him up and down, dissecting him. She saw the Patek Philippe watch, fake, the Italian shoes, real, and the wedding ring sinking into his fleshy finger. "I'm not hidden, sir," she said, her voice sounding like cold velvet. "I'm just expensive." Kunle laughed. He thought it was a joke. He thought he was the hunter. The poor man didn't know he was already the suya meat on the grill. He ordered the most expensive champagne. He talked about his connections in Abuja, his houses in Lekki, his fleet of cars. Jessica listened. She nodded. She poured him more drink. She was harvesting information, not attention. Later that night, sitting in the taxify heading back to her one room in Lekki Phase 2, not the Lekki of Instagram, the Lekki of Face Me, I Face You and shared bathrooms, she sent a voice note to someone. Just 2 sentences. "I found one. Mama, the hospital money is coming." Then she put the phone face down and stared out the window at Lagos moving past her in the dark. By the time the night ended, Kunle had dropped 500k on drinks and promised to change her life. He watched her get into a taxify, his heart beating like a talking drum. He thought he had found a trophy. He didn't know he had just invited a hurricane into his living room. The madness didn't start immediately. Jessica was a slow poison. For 2 weeks, she didn't pick his calls. Kunle went mad. He was used to women jumping when he snapped his fingers. This silence, it was driving him crazy. It made him want her more. When she finally agreed to dinner, Kunle was ready to sell his village to impress her. They met at a private restaurant in Victoria Island where the menu had no prices. The air conditioner hummed with the sound of money. "I don't date married men." Jessica cut her steak with surgical precision. "They are messy. They promise heaven and earth, but they can't even pick a call after 8 p.m. "I am not like them," Kunle protested, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I am the master of my time. My wife, she understands her place." Jessica looked at him, her eyes wide and innocent. "Prove it." That was the hook. Within a month, Kunle had bought Jessica a condo in Ikui, not rented, bought. He told his wife Kemi that the business was facing logistical headwinds and he had to cut down the household allowance. Meanwhile, Jessica's bathroom had taps made of gold. Omo, if you are watching this and you know a man like Chief Kunle, that uncle that is always shouting business is tight while buying Bone Straight for a 20-year-old, smash that like button right now. Let's gather in the comments and shame them small. No mercy today. The problem wasn't the money, it was the sloppiness. Kunle started coming home smelling of foreign perfume. He started locking his phone with Face ID. One Sunday, he even forgot his own wedding anniversary. Madam Kemi had cooked Edikangi Kong, set the table and waited. Kunle came home at 2 a.m., drunk, lipstick on his collar, singing Burna Boy. Madam Kemi didn't shout, she didn't fight, she just looked at him with tired eyes and went to the guest room. She has given up, Kunle told Jessica the next day, laughing as he signed a check for her business startup. The woman knows she cannot compete. Jessica smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. You are a strong man, Kunle, a king. But then, things got complicated. Jessica started asking for more than money. She wanted security. Kunle, people are talking, she whispered one night, lying on his chest. They say you are fronting for politicians. If FEC comes for you today, they will freeze everything. Your wife, your children, they will suffer. Kunle sat up. God forbid. I have a solution, she said, tracing a finger down his arm. Move the assets, just temporarily. Put the deed of the new shopping complex in a neutral name, someone nobody will suspect. Once the heat dies down, we move it back. Kunle hesitated. That shopping complex was his retirement plan. It was worth 400 million naira. You don't trust me, Jessica said, standing up and reaching for her bag. It's okay. Go back to your wife. Let Efishi carry everything. Panic gripped him. The fear of losing his wealth was stronger than his common sense. He grabbed her hand. Wait, baby, I didn't say no. Wait first. I can see your heart beating from here. You are screaming at your screen. Don't do it, Kunle, Abi. But we all know men who stop thinking once a fine woman is involved. Before we see if he signs the papers, hit that subscribe button. He signed. He transferred the deed of the shopping complex to Jessica's company, J Gold Ventures. He also moved a significant chunk of his liquid cash into a joint account for safekeeping. He felt smart. He felt like a tactician. He went home that night and whistled. 3 days later, he went to the condo in Ikoyi to celebrate. He put his key in the door. It didn't turn. He frowned. Maybe he was using the wrong key. He tried again. Nothing. He knocked. Silence. He called Jessica's phone. The number you are calling does not exist on this network. Please check the number and try again. The cold that washed over Chief Kunle had nothing to do with the weather. He banged on the door. Jessica, open this door. It's me. The door opened, but it wasn't Jessica standing there. It was a tall, muscular man wearing a black singlet and holding a chewing stick. Oga, why are you making noise? Kunle screamed. Where is Jessica? Who are you? Jessica sold this apartment to me yesterday. Full payment, documents signed. Oga, clear from my gate before I call police.
Kunle sat in his car for 20 minutes. He didn't move. He didn't call anyone. He just gripped the steering wheel while the engine idled, and the gateman of the next compound watched him with the detached curiosity of a man who had seen plenty of Lagos drama and had long since stopped being surprised by any of it. A hawker knocked on his window. Oga, pure water? Kunle looked at the boy like he was speaking a language from another planet. Then something shifted in his face, from shock to calculation. The complex. If Jessica had moved on the condo, she might not have had time to... He started driving. Kunle drove to the shopping complex like a madman. His tires screeched as he pulled up. There was a construction crew there. They were changing the sign. Stop! Kunle yelled, running out of his car, his agbada flying. What are you doing to my building? The foreman looked at a clipboard. Your building? Sorry, sir. This property was acquired this morning by a new holding company. We have orders to renovate immediately. Acquired by who? Kunle's voice cracked. He was vibrating. K Square Global Limited. Kunle froze. The name sounded familiar. Too familiar. He got back in his car. His hands were shaking so bad he could hardly steer. He drove home. The gates to his mansion were open. He walked into the living room. It was quiet. Too quiet. All the pictures on the wall were gone. The furniture was covered in white sheets. Sitting on the only uncovered chair in the room was Madam Kemi. She was wearing black, looking morning fresh, sipping zobo from a glass. She looked peaceful, Kemi, he gasped, falling to his knees. They duped me. Jessica, that witch, she stole everything. The complex, the money, we are finished. Madame Kemi took a slow sip of her drink. She placed the glass on the floor. You are finished, Kunle, she corrected him. I am just starting. Kunle looked up, confused. What? Do you know who owns K Square Global Limited? Kemi asked softly. Kunle shook his head. Kemi and Kids, she said. It's my company. The silence in the room was heavy enough to crush a man. Jessica didn't steal the complex, Kunle. She sold it to me at a very friendly discount. Kunle's mouth opened, but no sound came out. You see, Jessica is my cousin, second cousin from my mother's side. When I saw you were acting foolish, I knew you would waste our children's inheritance on small girls outside. So, I hired the best small girl I knew to help me collect my pension early. Chai, fear women, fear them. If you are not sharing this story right now, you are wicked. Send this to your group chat and title it Wisdom. Someone needs to learn sense today. She is your cousin? Kunle whispered. The betrayal was so complete, so architectural, he almost admired it. She took her 20% commission, Kemi said, walking towards the door with a suitcase he hadn't noticed before. The rest is for me and the children. The house is in my name now, Kunle. I bought it from the bank when you missed the payments last month because you were buying condo for Jessica. She opened the door. The Harmattan wind blew in, dry and dusty. You have 1 hour to pack your things, she said, not looking back. I'm changing the locks. Chief Kunle lives in a one-room apartment in the mainland now. He tells anyone who will listen about how women are evil, about how he was charmed. He sits at the local beer parlor, nursing one bottle of trophy for 3 hours, warning young men. Don't trust them, he says, eyes red. Even the one sleeping beside you is planning your burial. But nobody listens. Because in Lagos, when a big man falls, nobody pities him. They just step over him to get to the next business deal. As for Jessica, last I heard she was in Abuja. A senator had just bought her a G-Wagon. She's still working, and business is booming. The downfall of a man is not the end of his life, but it is definitely the start of his wife's testimony.